Can you imagine having enough cash to rent the world's fifth biggest yacht, or to fly to your very own island on a private jet? Boy, that must be nice. Well, for our beloved Leonardo DiCaprio, it's no dream, it's reality. When you've got one of the most recognizable faces on the planet and have been dominating the film industry for over a quarter of a century, money comes easy. Lots and lots and lots of money. Well into the hundreds of millions. So how does this Hollywood heartthrob splash his excessive amounts of cash? Let's find out. Kicking things off is the stunning Fisker Karma sports car. It's as sleek as it is environmentally friendly, and that's why Leo was happy to spend big on it. As someone with a passion for addressing climate change, he had no issues forking out $110,000 to add this set of wheels to his garage. Justin Bieber has one too, as do Alicia Keys and Al Gore. Since Leonardo used to drive a Prius, the Fisker company reached out to him. They were confident that he'd be interested in a partnership. So back in 2012, he also became a Fisker equity investor and a brand ambassador. It's just one of the ways he puts his alarming $260 million net worth to use. Don't get us wrong though, that's not Leo's only car, no sir. His garage is nearly overflowing. Take a look. At different times, he's been seen cruising around in a Ferrari 458 Italia. Those go for around $300,000. Likewise, the Rolls-Royce Wraith. But wait, there's more. We've got the Mercedes S-Class for $140,000, which was around the same price as his Range Rover. Throw in the $100,000 each for the Cadillac Escalade, the Porsche Cayenne, and the Tesla Roadster too. And for a touch of luxury, add a Bentley Continental GT for $250,000 onto that list. Throw all these cars together and the money really adds up. He also whipped out $40,000 for a Toyota Prius for his then-girlfriend Blake Lively. Oh, and we can't forget his own Toyota Prius. So slap on another check for $40,000 right there. While he's obviously a great actor and a bit of a car collector too, our favorite Wolf of Wall Street has also tried his hand at real estate. If you don't know who this guy is, it's Moby, the musician. Anyway, Leo went ahead and bought Moby's old house, handing over $4.9 million for this 4,644 square foot, 5-bedroom, 7-bathroom haven in Los Feliz, California. Check it out. When he's not hanging out there, he's over at his quaint home in Malibu, which cost a staggering $23 million. And at one point in the 90s, he even bought a house from Madonna for $2 million. If he's bored of the Pacific, well, he's got 2 apartments in New York City, purchased for $3.67 million and $8 million. And if he gets fed up with civilization as a whole, there's no need to worry. Yep, Leo really does have his own private island. He bought a 104-acre island near Belize for a mere $1.75 million. Apparently, the island will soon be home to a new resort called Blackador Cay. So hey, who wants to check it out firsthand with us? It's not all fancy cars and big houses, though. Leo spends a truckload of his wealth by investing it back into his very own company, the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation. While the foundation lacks in name creativity, it makes up for it with astounding charitable work. Led by none other than Jack Dawson himself, the foundation, as Leo puts it, is, quote, dedicated to the health and well-being of all Earth's inhabitants, focusing on wildlands and oceans conservation, climate change, and indigenous rights. With Leo at the helm, the company has raised over $100 million. And you can bet that he's invested and donated about that much of his own cash as well. Keep up the good work, Leo. Anyway, moving on, here's a question for you. If you could have any animal in the world as your legal pet, what would you choose? For Leonardo, the answer was pretty simple: an African spurred tortoise. As the story goes, DiCaprio, who is also a wildlife activist, showed up at a reptile breeders conference in Los Angeles with a friend in 2010. He thought, hey, why not, and treated himself to the $400 reptile. This is no replaceable goldfish, folks. These guys can reportedly live up to 80 years old. At the time, the tortoise was only 38 pounds, but they can grow to a whopping 200 pounds. Keep in mind that Leo himself only weighs 165. Ah well, odd choice and house pet aside, at least he didn't go out and buy himself a dinosaur or anything like that. What's that? He did? Oh boy. Turns out, old mate Leo is actually a massive dinosaur buff, and has gone out of his way to buy a collection of dinosaur bones, or at least a skull. He first tried to get his hands on a dinosaur skull at an auction in 2007, but you'll never guess who outbid him. Okay, go ahead, take a guess. Wrong, it was Nicolas Cage. Determined to add some dino to his dining room, DiCaprio then bought the skull of a Mosasaurus. sort of like an aquatic man-eating lizard. That set him back close to $40,000. We've seen Leo kill it in front of the camera. Titanic, Wolf of Wall Street, The Revenant, Catch Me If You Can, Inception, you name it. Give this video a quick like if you have seen any of those films, and let us know in the comments which one is your favorite. Aside from his work on screen, Leo also maintains a little side hustle as a movie producer, investing his own money into movies so that they can be as successful as possible. It's not uncommon for producers to throw hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars at a movie and hope that it sticks. He recently purchased the film rights for Liz Nugent's novel called Unraveling Oliver, and produced The Wolf of Wall Street as well. You see this monstrosity of a yacht? It's worth a jaw-dropping $678 million. That's no lie, folks. And while Leo doesn't own it himself, he has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars renting this one, and plenty of others like it. This particular yacht, the 482-foot Topaz, was rented from a UAE billionaire so that Leo could watch the World Cup with 21 of his nearest and dearest millionaire friends without any distractions. But that's not the only time that he's kicked back on the water. In 2018, he was seen lounging about on a mega yacht in Antibes, France, with model Camilla Morone, plus her mother and a few friends, including the old Spider-Man himself, Tobey Maguire. Thankfully, the only ill-fated boat that Leo has sailed on has been the Titanic. Everything else has remained well and truly above the waterline. We know that Leo loves the environment, and that's great. However, and fair enough, he has stirred up quite a controversy by chartering yachts as well as flying in private jets. If you were bombarded by fans and paparazzi at every waking moment, you'd probably spurge a few $100,000 on private air travel too. He has used private planes to fly all over the world, on trips to Disney World, Spain where he was seen practicing flyboarding, Thailand, the crystal clear waters of Bora Bora, St. Bart's, Sumatra, where he lent a helping hand to the local wildlife, the French Alps with ex-girlfriend Toni Garn, Cannes, France, and the list goes on and on. It's fair to say that, all up, he's easily spent $1 million seeing every corner of the world. When he's not gallivanting around the globe or shooting the next almost Oscar winner, he's hanging out on one of his many houses. And how does he decorate said houses, we hear you ask? Art, of course. Really expensive, probably wildly unnecessary art. DiCaprio has spent tens of millions on all kinds of paintings over the decades, and has even stepped into the industry himself, becoming an investor and an advisor for an app called Magnus Art back in early 2018. Included in that, he coughed up $38K for a groovy sci-fi-inspired painting by Jean-Pierre Roy. But that's not the piece of art that he was most chuffed with. Actually, that'd be the rare drawing by Jean-Michel Basquiat called Red Man 1. It cost him a whopping $9 million. Unfortunately for Leo, though, that painting had a shady backstory and he was forced to turn it over to the FBI. For a man who's in the public eye more than pretty much any other human on the planet, it's not exactly surprising to learn that Mr. DiCaprio owns closets full of high-end fashion. Whenever the paparazzi have caught him donning a pair of sunglasses, trust us, they've been hella expensive. From only the top designers in the world, his basket of shades has included a number of frames, like Persol's Malcolm McQueen glasses, which alone cost $250 each, and obviously he's run through a few pairs over the years. Clearly, he's a man with an inkling for expensive accessories. Just take a look at his watch collection. His Tag Heuer, for starters, would have required a $2,600 check, while his Carrera Calibre is worth even more, at a measly $4,500, pocket change. Where Leo's collection of expensive goodies really shows itself off, however, is in his room full of antique memorabilia and souvenirs. Back when Haiti had just suffered through the devastating earthquake in 2010, Leonardo DiCaprio went out and bought a guitar from a charity auction. Who was the original owner of the guitar? Well, none other than the U2 frontman himself, Bono. It was just $100,000 though, no biggie. That's not the only notable item in his man cave, no siree. As an actor, Leo has always been obsessed with older films, one of which was Casablanca. Have you seen it? Anyway, Leo went to an auction on Sotheby's in New York with his friend Stuart Rahr, and kicked out a whopping $600,000 for the famous Casablanca piano. It didn't stay at Leo's house long though, he soon donated it to the LA County Museum of Art. So as you can see, he has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on crazy cool items. Clearly a smart man, our favorite Hollywood hunk is also surely a hefty saver. Add it all up and you've got yourself that glistening net worth of $260 million. What would you do with that much cash? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for checking out The Richest. See you next time.